Welcome back to the channel. It's the Sketch Monkey here with a brand new redesign video for you. And in this video we're going to talk about the brand new, updated, facelifted Audi R8. First of all, I want to hear your opinion. Do you think this update is an improvement over the previous model? Or do you think they're going in the wrong direction and they just messed this up? This obviously right here, that one is the old model, and this is the new facelifted one right here. Personally, I think I kind of like it. I think I like it because it's less Audi and more Lamborghini in the front. So Audi usually have a bunch, or they actually have a book this thick when you design an Audi on how to design an Audi. You need to follow all of those rules when you work as a designer at Audi. So I'm surprised that they went almost a little bit crazy with the front here. I like it because, as I said, it's more Lamborghini-like, especially with these vents right here, these fins at the bottom right here. You have this Lambo Y shape, which is typical Lambo. But, you know, you can always improve the design, and you can always have fun with it and experiment with different versions of it, and especially the front, which is what I'm going to focus on today. Alright, so I picked this blue one because I think blue it's easy to work with. The problem, I wouldn't say problem, but the kind of annoying thing with this design to me is these Lambo fins right here. I think they look a little bit out of place, so I'm gonna work with that. And the difference with this video is I'm gonna do this in real time, so I'm gonna sketch as I talk and come up with ideas, basically, so you can see the process, because I know a lot of you want to learn how to do this. So I think the easiest way to learn how to do it is to do it in real time and not speed it up, so I can tell you about the steps that goes into a sketch like this. So first of all, let's put out some basic lines and ideas on what we kind of want to take this design toward, and what we want to work with. So as I mentioned before, these fins, I want them to be more integrated somehow. Maybe we can stretch it up to this point right here and have it go down as one single line all the way down here. And also, I think I'm going to add something down here. Maybe make this blue, so I have a blue. So we have a blue fin down here, and then this air intake right here. Add some of that right here in that surface. So the front, the lower lip of this car is going to go down a little bit like this, with the same with the body color, with the same color as the rest of the car. And I think that would be a good start. And also these air intakes in the center here, I'm gonna start by doing that right now, actually, because I want them to be one single opening. The three openings to me kind of feel like a hint to the old Sport Quattro, which had a lot of those separate air intakes in the front. So that's kind of cool. But for an R8, I want to have it just a big one-piece air intake right there, so that's what we're gonna start with right now. And that's obviously a pretty simple change. So all I'm gonna do is as I said before, I use standard brushes in Photoshop. So I got two choices here. I can either select the layer that the car is on. I can use the clone stamp tool, which is probably the easiest way to do this. And then I hit Alt or Option on a Mac, which selects the area where the cursor is, and then it's just going to copy that information that is on that surface. So I can copy this right here, click Alt, and then I just sketch it in over here. So that's a super useful tool when you're doing these kind of sketches. So that means that you don't really have to go in and do all the details if the information is already in the sketch. You can just copy one area of the sketch and duplicate it by painting it in somewhere else, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't make sense, just let me know. and I will try to explain it further. So that was a simple change. We have, let's just do it like this first. So we have the original at the bottom. I want to keep that completely original so we can have something to compare with when we're done. There we go. Now the next step. The next step is going to be working on those fins in the front. So I want to create some sort of connection to the top part here. And this, as you know, is all a matter of taste. People like different things, and I just like to experiment with these kind of shapes, just have fun with it and see what we can come up with. So I'm selecting this surface right here. This is just a regular pen. So when you have a pen selected in Photoshop and you want a specific color of the car, of the image that's already on the canvas, all you got to do is select the color picker. You do that by hitting Alt or Option, and then if you select this blue, you're gonna get this blue as a color to paint with. If I want white, I just find a white area, and then I have white all of a sudden, and that's a really fast way instead of going up here to this color wheel and manually select every single color. So actually, I mean, this is just a faster way to get going, and it's a way more fluent way to sketch by just selecting the already existing tones on here. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna fill this in and see how that looks. As you can see, I'm continuously selecting new values. Selecting black right now, then back to blue by just hitting Alt. And then I'm actually gonna go in and do some airbrush here. As I said before, I love the airbrush because it gives so much. It gives you a lot of different shades, and not just one solid shade to work with. So it just gives a natural reflections and kind of fluency in the color. Create a new layer. And also, I get questions: when do you decide to create a new layer? That's just also depends on how you like to work. I just create a new layer when I feel like I don't want to mess anything up that I've done up until this point. So if I create a new layer and I mess it up, it's all good. I can just delete that layer and go back to the previous one. That's just pretty much depends on how you prefer to sketch. I'm gonna fill in the highlights of the edge of this fin here. And I do that by selecting the white from the headlights and going all the way down. So all edges that are facing the light source should have a highlight on them. And especially when you're sketching like this, when you're trying to visualize something, it's even more important to almost overdo the highlights and the shading. I'm gonna go and define the rear of this fin. So I'm selecting the black. And here's the thing, you don't know how this is going to look until you zoom out. So now I've been sketching on this zoomed in this entire time. So everything's gonna be revealed to me if this works or not when I zoom out. So let's see. I think it looks okay. It looks okay. We can still work with it, and we can still maybe add some thickness to this. Do it like that, maybe. Or maybe we can even... Right now I think I'm just overdoing things. And I should just leave it as it is and continue with the rest of the car. That way it will give me a better understanding on where to go with the design later on. Because the more stuff you put down, at least for me, the easier it is to see where I want to take the rest of the car. the rest of the design. So what I'm gonna do right now is just continue with this lower part here. So I want to go back to the layer where the car is, copy this area, the mesh, I want this texture. So then just Control C, Control V, you got it copied. Copy it one more time to get more of it. Very basic stuff. And then merge those two, doing that by Command E. So now both those pieces are on one single layer. And then I want to delete what I'm not going to be using. So anything above this line here, I'm not going to be using, so I might as well delete it right now. And then create a new layer, and then we can start to sketch on this and figure out what we want to do with it. I'm just going to roughly sketch it out first, and then go into details as to what I actually want to do with it. First, I need to make sure that it's going to work visually. If it doesn't work visually, I might there's no point of just continue to sketch it, so I want to just put it out very loosely first. Same thing here, go in with the highlights and kind of check all the surfaces and lines, make sure that they play well together. I think we're going to have to make some thickness here, so by thickness I mean this. Still using standard brushes as always. There are no custom brushes here. This is just a pressurized brush. So obviously if you're planning on doing these kind of sketches, you want to have a tablet, because doing it with a mouse is just not gonna work. I don't even think there is a way to get pressure sensitivity in your with the mouse, so you kind of need a tablet. And if you want, I can go over tablets as well. I prefer these that don't have a screen in them, just because it's quicker to get up and running, less cords, less mess, and I just want to plug it in and get going with the sketching as fast as possible. Same thing here, I'm working zoomed in now, so I still don't know really if this is going to work until I zoom out and check the view from further away. So I'm gonna do that in a second. Actually, we might want to have this be blue, so I think I'm gonna change that, make a new layer. Gonna use the airbrush this time. There we go. Delete what I don't need by using a hard eraser. That's the standard workflow that I like. I like to use airbrush to cover large areas, and then just go in with the hard eraser to define the shapes and erase the airbrush that I don't need, basically. And then you always got to think of shading, and you always got to think about the light source, because that's going to determine where you put shading and where you put highlights. And it's easy to forget, but it does make a big difference in your sketches for sure. If you nail the highlights and the shading, it's going to give the sketch more depth, and also, of course, make it look more real and not too flat. Alright, I'm gonna zoom out now and see how this looks. And think about it for a minute. See if it, let's see how far we've come here. So that's the original one. This is the modified one. I think it looks cool, but it needs a little bit more work to really get the. This area right here is the problem right now. Let me show you what I mean. This surface right here, this connection is weird, and I want to fix it somehow. Just gotta figure out how to fix it. Maybe add some thickness to this. Could work. You see this curvature here? I don't want that. I want this to be a straight line all the way down. So I'm gonna try and redesign this line here to make it more straight. Probably just make it a big highlight. That looks okay. I like it better than the curvature that we had. It went something like this before. Not a lot of curvature, but it did go like that, and that just made it look like something is off with the manufacturing of this piece if we don't have it straight. So now you can see that we have this line going here. Let me make a new layer. This line going all the way down here, and then it curves, and then it connects to this line down here. And I like this flow, and then it's gonna continue over here, and we're gonna make the same exact thing on this side right here. Might do some minor tweaks to the design as we go, but right now I'm just gonna duplicate what I did on one side and have it be symmetrical. So I'm gonna speed this up, this part, and copy this side over to the other one. Alright, so there we have it. This is just some minor changes. As I said in the beginning of this video, I really like the new facelift. I think it looks a lot more aggressive and more it kind of separates the R8 from the rest of the Audi lineup with this more aggressive styling and less following the rules and more just having a lot of fun with the design. So what we did, I wanted to create something different right here. Let me make a new layer so you can see. This part right here, wanted to change that, so I added this continuous line that goes right from there and then wraps around the bottom and then comes up to the grill. Same thing on the other side, and the other side was actually a lot harder to do in this perspective than I thought it would, but I think it worked out good. And also remove the 3 front intakes right here and make that into one long one. I think that looks better. And that's about it. Not too many changes, just having some fun with this design. I hope you enjoyed this video just as much as I enjoyed making it. And if you like this kind of videos, check out my playlist called Car Makeovers. So go check that out. Give this video a like if you liked it, a dislike if you disliked it. And if you're a fan of car makeovers, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. I'm the Sketch Monkey, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.